The French President has made some really interesting comments over the last 48 hours, which we've been reporting, but one of them was pointing to the 18 months review that's now underway, looking at how all of this is actually going to happen, how it's going to eventuate. And Emmanuel Macron essentially said, good luck with that, sort of suggesting that this might not all eventuate. I mean, should we be placing our faith in this agreement that it'll all happen as expected?
It's a really great point, Ash, and to give him his due, it's not a moot point, right? This is a massive, massive lift for this country, right? Now, on the one hand, it's just a propulsion system. But, you talk to people in the US Navy, you talk to people in the Australian Navy. When you've got nuclear propulsion in your systems now, the nature of what it means to be a naval officer, to be working in the Australian Navy changes. All of a sudden, the risks and the level of expertise needed both on the vessels themselves, but in the civilian workforce to sustain them, just goes up by incredible orders of magnitude. When the deal was first announced, nuclear-powered submarines are some of the most complex, difficult pieces of kit we have on the planet, more ambitious and more complicated pieces of machinery than say, the space shuttle. And that's what we're looking to stand up as a nation in partnership with the UK and the United States. But it is no small thing. And so, Macron's got his motivations for the particular form of words he used, but there is a serious point underlying this. This is a huge, huge lift technically for this country. The 18-month consultation period with the United States is real. The US Congress is going to want reassurances that this is on track, that technology can leave the United States and come to Australia and be put to use safely and securely. So it is far from being a done deal. Despite all the goodwill and the strategic significance of it, the hard work is just beginning, and Macron is frankly right to point to that.
More broadly, Simon, how are you expecting the US and the world, for that matter, to respond to the commitments Australia is taking to Glasgow? We heard from the Prime Minister on this overnight. And what does this mean for our relationship with the US if we're seen not to get to the bar they'd like us to be at?
Yeah, look, so that's such an interesting facet to this. Biden himself doesn't go to Glasgow with an especially strong set of cards, to be honest. And our analysis here at the US Study Centre, repeatedly, we keep pointing to there are more similarities between where both Australia and the US are in terms of their internal politics around getting deals on climate done and where the policy settings are landing. In neither the United States nor Australia is a carbon price, is a tax on carbon politically feasible at the moment. So technology, not taxes, they're not calling it that in the United States, but essentially it is massive amounts of government-led investment to try and get things going in the private sector that are going to get them down the pathway. That's essentially where the Biden administration is. It's not even there yet. It hasn't been able to even legislate those things as yet. The other item that the Biden administration really wanted Australia to sign up to was this methane pledge. And that was a non-starter here in Australia. We hadn't done, I think, the necessary legwork to get down the road there. And it's just too hard with the gnats and what it might portend for the agricultural sector. But it is such an important part of the climate change equation, getting methane emissions under control, but something Australia just wasn't ready to even entertain at this stage. So quite a bit of difference between the two countries in some ways, certainly I think in the rhetoric and the atmospherics. But when you actually look under the hood, both at the politics and the policy, I don't think that Biden's actually got a lot of, frankly, moral power, moral suasion with which to say poke Morrison in the chest. And then we get back to the submarine story. And I think there's nothing like perhaps muddying the waters there a little bit, perhaps on the Australian end. There's nothing like that AUKUS story and some of the fallout on that, perhaps, to distract us away from the fact that Australia probably is going to get criticised by a lot of the other countries at Glasgow.
Simon Jackman, always appreciate your insights. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ash.